Hello, everyone. My name is Samiksha Gour. I am the Director of Data Engineering here at SurveyMonkey. And a little fun fact about me is the name Samiksha. It means analysis and deep reflection. So I guess I was destined to spend my career integrating with the data, talking to data more than people. So that's what I jokingly tell to my team about that. So if you're working in data engineering, you know that I am just cracking that joke half the way because all of us just talk to data more often than people. So today I'm going to walk you all through how we scale the productivity. And as I said, it's amazing. It's brilliant to see how the work and the scale of amount of work the team is doing behind the scenes because we are the one who are consuming it, operating it, and making things much more smarter. What my first reaction when we partnered with Seemore was we moved from reactive optimization to more of autonomous data, operationalization. So we most importantly, I just wanted to talk about was the scaling of Snowflake data before Seymour was all manual. There would be a people person who would just sit in once in a while, open, and figure it out where we are burning our credits, go, do a small patchwork and then try to save some money and dollars. We never had this whole end-to-end visibility of, wow, the amount of credits we can save and the amount of work we can do. So I would be talking more about that, but a little bit about myself as I've spent about 18 years in in data landscape and about three and a half years now in SurveyMonkey. And
Samiksha, I think we're not seeing the move of the slides. There it is. Okay,
oh, sorry, you can, right?
there it
Okay.
is. Yes, yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, that's me, and the journey has been great in data space. Those who have worked on, like, we just started with, oh, you work for IT, to data engineering roles being introduced, to now I've heard about the data observability roles being introduced, and now with AI, things are changing a lot. So I'm very passionate about building scalable systems. And I'm going to talk about more how we try to make certain things scalable here at SurveyMonkey by partnering with Seymour. So let's quickly jump onto that and see, how we have kind of, gotten over here. So this is a punchline which kind of struck me because before Seymour, I was just seeing the way the bill was going faster and the amount of scalability and projects we had. And I was like, okay, let me talk to folks who are in the same boat right now and show them how did we kind of moved away from that boat and now trying to scale much more and add more projects on the AI workspace. We are scaling more and more and optimizing on agent level, orchestrations as well. So let's move from there. So what was the problem we were trying to solve is, I'll be very quick over here. There were three problems we were trying to solve. And this is in every data space we try to see. Number one, there are smaller little cost drifts, which is quite little smaller queries which kind of are not taking much time, but they are like a slow leakage for us and they are very inefficient, and every week they kind of accumulate and try to become a more bigger pain. So that was one of the things which we were trying to see, like what are those small little queries which we kind of are inefficient, and how can we try to optimize that one. Second piece of performance what we were looking at was, it comes from upstream, and I'll give an example of Google Search Console. You try to make a fix today, it doesn't work. Tomorrow, you have another plethora of problems coming in, and then your query keeps changing every day because the upstream data keeps changing every day. That was another performance, problem which we were trying to solve. And then team bandwidth. It's a fact that when you work on a project and move on to the next project, the team never goes back, revisits the project, does optimization on the models which they have ran. And that is where I would always do this measure of, why don't we go back and do the optimization, and the backlog never end. It was just increasing every day. So what we realized at the end of the day was the problem was operational. It was nothing, something which we were not trying to kind of look at. It was not heroic. It was more operational problem. So what we tried to do is, with partnering with Seymour, we figured out that, okay, let's try to, now that with Seymour we had so much of visibility across the landscape, we were like, okay, let's try to see where we can eliminate these, idle models, idle warehouses, idle queries, where we can kind of start looking at the cost governance point of view and, remove that particular spend. And second pillar we were trying to see was faster queries. Like if there are few incidences, or how we can make this query faster, how we can move from one warehouse. Like, you don't really need a medium warehouse for certain queries or models to run. We can might as well run it on extra small or small. That confidence, and which Yevon was talking about, the fear the team would be like, in terms of going back and adjusting their models, had overcome that with Seemore. Because my engineers could go look, make the changes in the back end, go back to the Seemore and figure out how we are performing, because now they had that visual representation in front of them to take the decisions more confidently. So we kind of moved in that environment, and we figured out that with cost governance and performance reliability, the productivity was kind of being brought back. My team was not doing more of manual investigation. My team was trying to not tune things, going and finding out manually, but it was just relying on system. The system gives you the information, take the action, and start leveraging more and more engineering hours for the projects which we plan to do in our roadmap. So this was the three pillars which we dived into. And as we are moving more into the agentic workspace, I wanted to kind of go back and understand, like, what does autonomous data ops mean, right? It's more about somebody detecting that there is a problem in the system. Here is the recommended action. Just go, execute it. By the time you do that, an engineer, if manually, has to do it easily a week and a half. I save time there. I save time by just looking at some of the notifications and anomalies kind of being detected by Seymour. I go back, the engineers make the changes immediately, saves time, and the capacity of the engineer which is being planned to do the work, that's kind of being taken into consideration. The impact, the dollar values which we have saved with this kind of execution has been tremendous. It's like literally triple the value of what I'm going to show you next. So this is what we wanted to kind of let the key idea flow in, is it's not just about visually seeing and showing a dashboard and saying, okay, here's a problem in your system, but what we are getting to know is, here's the next step, take this, execute it, and move forward. Saves a lot of time, right? So time saver. This is where I wanted to kind of also show like the areas, the baselines in which we have started, leveraging Seymour and started looking at the compute cost, visibility, storage, and, how we have made the optimization. Firstly, Snowflake usage and warehouse configuration. That was something which Yemen was showing about. And sometimes when there is, and I'm talking of all reality over here, sometimes when there is a problem and you have to solve it within a day or two, business is not going to wait for you to get the data in place and with all optimization in place. You will have to take that call of, okay, let's move to Gen 2, get that done quicker, go back. That confidence of, oh my God, how many credits am I going to burn, was all gone. We would just have, like, literally Seymour has a UI, a separate UI, which is all constantly there. Team takes an action, changes the warehouses. We go back, we figure out how much is the impact. And that kind of gives us an confidence to move forward with telling the business that the data would be available, the backlog would be available. So that is the Snowflake usage and warehouse configurations, where we have cut down the warehouse sizes where it was not required, which gave us a bandwidth to kind of address some of the pressuring needs of the business, where we had to do the backfill for 2 years of data. And that's where we could, play around with the warehouse configurations. Query history and metrics, where that is another thing which we have tried to look for. And it's been a very, very impactful way of looking back at the query history, long running queries, going back and optimizing it and trying to save the cost. Some of the unused tables and footprints which we have already spoken about, we've kind of looked at it. We've deleted tons of models, a lot of unused tables. We have not deleted them, but we have archived them, so that way we have freed up the space to kind of accomplish more and more with the newer projects which we want to handle. So scalability kind of came pretty handy over here. And one excellent feature which has been quite handy is the integration piece. It is not just about Snowflake, it's about your integrations. Like things are moving in, things are moving out. What is that pipeline which I really don't want to kind of, work with? And you can try to work and go back and move certain things from one area to other. It has helped us a lot. For example, some of the things have been moved out of DBT model, and we have used Snowflake stored procedures to start doing it because we found that was more consuming than making it as a stored procedure. So there were a lot of different. This is just the high level baseline which I'm sharing with you all, where we were able to tap into and kind of get freed up a lot of space in compute storage power. And one of the things which I just wanted to delve a little deeper into was when we set the warehouse configuration and fixes, one of the features is auto shutdown, which Seemore recommends, right? You can do the there's an idle time, there's an auto shutdown, we can start leveraging that. That was one of the features which has helped us a lot to save the credits where it was ideally just sitting there. We could have just shut down and save cost and money. Half of the savings are actually just stopped there. You wasted money, and that's most of us don't realize it, but it is actually a lot of money. Gen 1 versus Gen 2 have already given you the example of it, and of course the vertical scaling. And thanks to you, and I'm going to go back and revisit this slide again and add more numbers to it because we've just done 10 to 20% of it. But believe me, it's thank you. It's quite helpful. So just showing some percentage of savings which we have done with Gen 2 and Gen 1. We do a lot of backfill for certain log data because we do a lot of channel attributions for marketing and for our product teams. And that's when we moved between Gen 1 and Gen 2, we could see that it was faster when you do on Gen 2 and then you go back to Gen 1 once the backlog is done. In that process, did we save the money? And this is where I just wanted to show that there was about 18% of performance trade-off. And again, as I said, it was a deliberate choice. The business was not going to wait for us. We had to quickly make the decision and move from Gen 1 to Gen 2. So this is one of the numbers I wanted to share with you all. Second is about the query optimization. I would quickly kind of glide to this because of the time. We reduced a lot time to diagnose of where do I optimize the query, what do I do, again to even again the having clause, and this details are excellent and brilliant and handy for any engineers to have go back, do the performance, and then just accelerate the query. Clustering is also another thing when you're dealing with a huge amount of data. Team was always skeptical about, should I add clusters to this? Can I maintain the clustering opportunities? But with Seemore, we have been able to do this in the past 2.5 quarters now. And I can see team is very confident in terms of when to apply clusters, when to not, look at the numbers, and then, take the action. So these are the query optimization clustering patterns wanted to share with you all. Again, silent killers. Yes, that's a very good name. Unused data flows. I spoke about the integrations to you all. I just realized that you just build the projects and then you figure out later, like when you look at a quarter down the lane and you figure out like some of those are like not even being used, the data flows. You can clearly go back and clean up that candidate. So that was another thing which was a silent killer. Helped us save really a lot of money thanks to the integration pieces with Seemore, which they talk about. How this has impacted our team is more in terms of every time a repeated model would kind of work in, the same process used to be performed by the team, various teams in different domains. That was kind of reduced because it was one model and it was applied across all the domains. Prioritization was pretty clear because now we were having a great ROI. And I'd given one work to my team is every end of the quarter, let's show some savings, which we do in our pipelines and automations. And wow, now we are the number people. We do go with the numbers saying, hey, we have saved so much. And, we start increasing and expanding more on the agentic workspace, what we are trying to do. And we have really seen that there are very few fire drills are on the Snowflake side, like, oh, this broke or that broke, and that's not happening because of the informed decisions the engineers are taking and moving confidently. Because earlier it used to happen that they would make the change in the warehouse, and next day they would get to know that oops, something got wrong, something has messed up. But this time it's not the case. They immediately get to know then and there, and they take that decision moving forward. So overall this has been great journey. Again, as I said, just 20 and 30% of it. I would definitely go back, redo the stuff. And I'm looking forward for more and more in the agentic workspace because we have started expanding, building conversational layers and agents in the SurveyMonkey world. So it's thanks to Seymour for giving us this opportunity to have that bandwidth to play around with the agentic